Right, a bit of story time. So, for my initial journey of getting an ADHD diagnosis formally through the NHS, it started a couple of years ago now. Anyway, I rung up my GP to talk to them to ask if I could get a referral, because I was realizing more and more that the likelihood of me having ADHD was fairly high. And being autistic, there is an 80% chance of having something like ADHD as well, like a co-condition. I don't know the exact name. Anyway, the story is about the journey and the shocking discovery of how the NHS actually treats people like me. So, I rung up my GP. The GP says, right, we've got a bit of a questionnaire for you to make sure that you would actually be right to send off a referral for. Fine, okay. So I answered the guy's questions. He was really nice on the phone. I passed this test with flying colours. And he says, okay, right, well, I will send a referral off. It's going to be a long time because there are a lot of people asking for this. So you're looking at about a year's waiting time. I don't like it, but I say, fine. This has recently come to light that women have ADHD. Recently. So I will wait, because the answers and the discovery and being able to help myself and know myself better are worth any wait. Right? So, 11 months in, still not heard anything. I'm getting curious what's going on. So, I try and ring the surgery, my local GP, and ask how things are going. Oh, we don't know. You don't know? No, sorry, we don't know. Well, can you like check and see what's going on? Oh no, you'd have to ring the place that that we actually send the referrals off to. Okay, can you tell me where they get sent off to? So they gave me the details, and I called them and I asked where I was on their waiting list, so that I had a vague idea of when I could expect to get an appointment, be seen. Not to try and fast track me, not to try and do anything to jump the queue. I just wanted to know where I was at. Their response? I wasn't in the system. 11 months. I wasn't in their system. I was starting to have a bit of an issue, let's say. So at this point, I've kind of gone into an anxiety-driven meltdown and I can't do anything. So someone else very kindly helped. And they rung up the GP and they talked to the secretaries. And wouldn't you know it, the email for my referral hadn't even been sent off to the frickin' ADHD service. What? So, after making a very audible double WTF thing to these people, I then apparently get fast-tracked. And I'm using this for a reason. You'll understand why in a minute. So I get fast-tracked to go through this ADHD service, to then go get an appointment for a video call, which involves my partner and my mother, for this person to then confirm that I do in fact have ADHD. And we can start you on medication, and, you can get therapy and all these different kinds of things, which sound brilliant. So far, I have been getting help with medication. It's a trial and error process. And regardless of the fact that there have been some downs, the ups have been really helpful. But that's not what this is about. I've been following a lot of people on Instagram, people who also have ADHD, because, who wants to feel alone in their mental health struggles, right? So, this one woman, Cherry ADHD, who's really brilliant, and I recommend following her, she mentioned how the system was really inaccessible for people with ADHD. And apparently getting referrals is really difficult. So, just because I felt like it, I shared my story, the one that I've just told you out there. And then I thought nothing of it, because I thought, it's probably just a one-off type of thing, because they wouldn't actively treat people like this, right? I was wrong. I got a reply from a random person saying that they went through pretty much the exact same thing, and that he was just fobbed off. They said they would and they didn't, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh God, that's awful that this guy's been treated this way. And it's difficult for guys, especially if they don't present as like hyperactive ADHD, the stereotypical stuff. And so I said, I sympathize, and it's, if that's true, then that's awful for them, and, But then I decided to look in the comments. Wasn't a one-off. Person after person after person after person, all saying pretty much the exact same thing. Some of them outright getting ignored, some of them just being fobbed off. And apparently they do this to weed out the ones that aren't serious about it. Weeding out the ones who aren't serious about it. So, when hypothetically speaking, when someone breaks their leg, do they go to the doctors and then get assessed on whether it's worth actually getting a cast or not, or whether they actually should get help for that? No. You break your leg, you go into hospital, you get a cast, and you get stuff done to make you feel better, right? Well, apparently that doesn't work with people with mental health issues. Why? For people like myself, and for anyone else who is autistic or ADHD, we do these things because we want things to be better. Our mental health suffers. In some cases, our physical health suffers as well. We do these things to make our lives better, and inevitably make things better for life in general. And they treat us like we're just making it up. Like, what do they expect us to do? We'll go through this system, waste people's time, and throw wobbly over nothing. I mean, I specifically went through the NHS so that I didn't get a false diagnosis, because that is one thing that I'm afraid of. If I have something wrong with me, I want to know for damn sure that it's verifiable, that it's certified by a proper diagnostician, and that it is treated in the proper way through the proper channels. But the thing is, the proper channels don't give us crap, apparently. And it boggles the mind. It truly, truly boggles the mind, because we're not trying to abuse the system. All we want is to try and live like the rest of you lot. And there are things that we find so much more difficult than you lot, but we try anyway. Because of peer pressure, because of societal norms, for whatever reasons. And yet we're treated like, oh, we're just making a fuss over nothing. Well, no, we're not, actually. We have differences, physical differences in our brains. Autism, for example, is a physical difference in the brain, where the portion of the brain that deals with social interactions and picking up on subtleties and nuance and stuff like that, that is physically diminished compared to that of a neurotypical brain. And ADHD is where, like, you expect electricity to jump between wire A and wire B. Sometimes it doesn't even reach. So we have processing problems. We can't hear things as soon as they're being said to us. The list of things that affects us goes on, and you've probably heard it everywhere. The point is, we're not bad people. Stop treating us like we're bad people. All of these people that were making comments saying how they were fobbed off, or how their children were being fobbed off. It's appalling. It is unacceptable and appalling. And quite frankly, it makes you wonder, like, these people would not be doing it normally. Doctors, they train for years out of a sense of compassion and wanting to help other people. And the reason that they're being told to fob people off is because of our bloody government. I am censoring myself. I'm that cross. You Tories have no idea what it's like to be neurodivergent. You have no idea the troubles and the anguish and the stress that we go through while you are stuck in your cozy little happy world thinking, oh, where can we save a quid or two? Oh, make sure there's caviar this time in the canteen in Parliament. I'm not going to deal with that awful second-hand stuff. It's awful. You live in your own little bubble. That's not your job. Your job is to help people. And I happen to be part of people. Yes, there are genuinely bad people. Yes, there are genuinely bad people that take advantage of the system. You lot are bloody part of it. I am suffering, and people out there with health conditions, mental health conditions, physical disabilities, the lot, are suffering because of insufferable, selfish people like you. It makes me so cross. So genuinely cross. Because I want to have faith in people being good. And especially after Brexit, I am dwindling that hope. Getting rid of anyone who came to this country for good and positive reasons. Making us a selfish husk of a country led by people who are no more than selfish, self-obsessed husks. Do better. because of all the effort that I've been trying to do better in myself. Why should I even bother trying when you won't? Do better. This is unacceptable. And quite frankly, I don't know how you can look at yourselves in the mirror. Because people like me who struggle to survive. Some of us are in such dire straits that we don't want to live anymore because we're not being helped, we're not being heard. And that's on you, government, Tories. Fuck you. And do better for people with mental health issues, because we deserve it just as much as anyone else. We want to be part of this world just as much as anyone else. We don't want to sponge off the system. That's what makes us different. Stop scrutinizing us. Stop belittling us. If neurotypical people are like you, then I don't want to be neurotypical anymore. Fuck the Tories.